All right, everyone, we've got Han. He's back. Well, didn't really go anywhere, but this time we've got a new best deck. It seems that way, at least. We have far more conversions for Han Green than Han Yellow, which honestly does make a little bit of sense because the strength of the tempo game of Double Yellow Han did get a lot weaker with DJ. And although DJ was a combination for Han Green, I think Han Green just more mid-ranged focus. And to be honest, in set 4, we got a lot of amazing tools that fit for Han Green. So it does make a lot of sense to see this deck be performing exceptionally and is definitely one of the lists that is on the radar for many people, and one that you'll have to build around going forward for any of your lists. Before we dive into Han Green and some of the new tools, as well as just some of the things we're trying to do and play some games, I'll say a big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon, guys. Really do appreciate you all supporting the channel. And also, I have a TCG player link in the description down below. Let's dive into what we got with Han Green. Obviously, we all know it, we all hate it or love it. Han's ability, giving you an extra resource with your action by sacrificing cards in hand, is pretty strong. It is a strong ability to utilize. You get to play above the curve, and that is a powerful thing to do. Of course, what that means is that in our early game, we have a couple of 2 resource plays in L3 and R2, probably the strongest couple of plays that you could be making. Nice little shielded unit, or just in R2 filtering your hand. But that also means that we can play 3 resource units on turn 1, and there are a couple of good ones. Blue Leader is the first one. Amazing in a situation where your opponent's just playing a standard 2 resource space unit and you get to go ahead and kill it and keep your blue leader around. Works amazingly. Millennium Falcon, one of the things that this card really hurts, or rather that this card really lacks, is the fact that you can't, well, really set it up all that easily when it's coming down on turn 2. Because turn 3 is when takedowns come in. It comes like Fell the Dragon. When you play it on turn 1, you can definitely play that into Chewbacca and make it an unkillable threat for the most part. So that's really excellent. We have Sundari Peacekeeper. This is just great because it's 5 toughness, but also has that Restore 2, which can work really well against certain decks that are more aggressive. Tech still in here. No DJ. This is more of a value element in the later stages of the game for the most part. Resupply. This allows you to play 5 resource plays on turn 2, which is incredible. Just something to think about. And then, of course, as we get into the later stages of the game, we've got a bunch of amazing new cards. I already mentioned, but Chewbacca can work as a pilot. We've got Luke as a pilot. I didn't mention him in the early stages of the game because you don't want to play this as a 2 resource, but putting him as a pilot on Millennium Falcons is amazing. We've got Han as a pilot or as a play, as a 5 resource ambusher. We've got Plo Koons, which are, well, you might be used to, but Han, Chewbacca, Luke's, Blue Leaders, all new cards from set 4. Then we have the amazing late game that Green offers over Cunning, U-Wing reinforcements, and Home Ones. Home Ones in particular are fan-freaking-tastic. It can go ahead and just absolutely go ahead and just dominate the game, getting you multiple units, getting you the Restore, getting you out of that realm of danger. And of course, to finish it off, we got a couple events. Spark for more disruption. We've got Waylays, which should be in the list actually, but I don't think they converted over. Surprise Strike, Hotshot Blaster in terms of extra power, in terms of some units, and that's going to be the list. Let's dive into some games and see what we can do. All right, for game 1, we got ourselves a matchup against Piet Blue. We have the resupply, which I do like, but we don't really have an amazing follow-up after that. Do I want to mulligan this? It's pretty tricky. I think I do. Ooh, we still have the resupply and we have the Millennium Falcon. I do like this. I think I'm going to resource the tech, and I think I'm going to resource the R2-D2, and I will go ahead and put Blue Leader down as a resource, and then they're going to go ahead and claim initiative, it looks like, which means I think I'll just go with the resupply and then pass. Got a Millennium Falcon. We'll go ahead and put that into the smuggle pile, or into the resource pile, as what I should say. We'll defeat the resupply since, well, that's not going to really do anything. And then we may go ahead and play that Millennium Falcon, or we may just, oh, they're going to pass, huh? They're going to pass. Let's go with, do I want to smuggle out a tech, actually? I think I do, because I think it's just going to get Power of the Dark Side away. Yep. Power of the Dark Side comes in, so we just got to use full value. If I went with Millennium Falcon, it would have just died. So we're just going to go ahead and resource the tech now. Let's go with a Millennium Falcon plus, I mean, we could actually get Han Solo down this turn, which is probably pretty good as well. Let's just start off by putting L3 into the resource pile and see what my opponent wants to do. Okay, they're going to go with a Dr. Pershing. Let's go ahead and flip Han here. And what do I want to do with the resources? I think what I want to do is actually attack their base. We'll get another resource. We got L3s, techs, Millennium Falcons. We can go ahead and play a couple things. I think I want to go Millennium Falcon and then pilot the Millennium Falcon with Luke and then pass. We're going to have to defeat a couple of resources here. Plo Koon looks pretty good. Han might be good. I think I want to resource the Han Solo, actually. And then we'll defeat the resupply and we'll defeat probably one of the L3s since we have multiple. No glory, only results. Wow. Okay, that's fine. We will go ahead and Plo Koon their Dr. Pershing. So they're playing definitely a more controlling game here. We're going to go ahead and attack the Piet because now the Luke just goes in and kills it if we want to do that. Sundari Peacekeeper can go into the resource pile. Enfys Nest looks pretty good. They have to have something pretty good here. We can defeat the Sundari Peacekeeper. We don't really care about that. So what I was thinking here is we don't want Piet to be playing big units. Oh, and it looks like they're just going to go with an attack here to get rid of something big. Ooh, now we can go Enfys Nest. Or do I want to go with something else? No, I think it's just Enfys Nest here. Bounce the Super Laser Technician. Because if they have another 3 resource play, they could play it. Or they're just going to play the Super Laser Technician out. And we'll hit in for 6 here. We'll pass. We got a resupply. But we're actually going to resource this Hotshot Blaster. I will go ahead and probably defeat the blue leader. Because I don't really care for that one as much. And we'll see what my opponent's got. I think we'll just get in for 6. They have to have a Super Laser Blast here, and they do, which is kind of what I expected. We will go with L3 and Tech. Tech comes out, we'll pass. Another Hotshot Blaster, we'll go ahead and resource that. So they had a Super Laser Blast. They're definitely a more controlling style of deck, Piet that is. Devastator comes in, that's fine. We get to go, what do we want to do here? So I can play anything. Oh, they took out the tech. Never mind. I can't play anything. Let's go with a Hotshot Blaster here on the L3. Get in for 4. And then we will just go ahead and play out the Plo Koon and then pass. We've got a Millennium Falcon, Luke. I think the Millennium Falcon actually looks pretty mediocre here. Devastator came down. Pretty nice curve for our opponent. They had the removal for the card I had earlier, which was the pumped up Millennium Falcon. That would have been fantastic. They got an Overwhelming Barrage. Okay, well, Overwhelming Barrage is pretty good. No doubt about it. We get to go Hotshot Blaster in for 6. They have Power of the Dark Side, which is pretty sweet. We're going to go with a Han Solo here. Do they attack? I don't think they should. They're going to take initiative. We're going to play a Luke, and then we're going to pass. We've got a Surprise Strike, which means both of our threats are lethal. That looks pretty good for us. Do they have another OB? Annihilator, huh? Well, that's going to be GG. Surprise Strike in, and GG to our opponent. Pretty close game, but we ended up getting there. I will say the Luke really did some work there. We did get a pilot. We didn't get to get in major damage, but we did have Luke as a leftover. I could have attacked base instead of attacking Piet, but if we did that, then they would have killed Luke anyways, and then they would have had Piet, which could have ran out and just completely dominated us. The Millennium Falcons weren't an out necessarily. Something like a Chewbacca in this matchup would have been incredible. Obviously, they had the No Glory on results, which would have been good regardless, but they did have the Power of the Dark Sides and everything going on, which, well, ended up slowing things down for us a little bit. But honestly, not exactly a crazy difficult game. I will say we would have had to draw a little bit well in the late game in order for us to close out, and we did. So Pretty good. All right, into game number 2. We've got ourselves a Millennium Falcon and Chewbacca here. I think I'll keep... Yeah, let's resource both Hans, because usually these decks don't play a ton of ground units. Besides, it's a little bit later on. I think I just want to go with the Millennium Falcon here and attack their base. And then probably just pilot this Luke onto my Millennium Falcon. That's what I'm thinking about. But we'll see. We are going to go resource this Surprise Strike. We're going to go Millennium Falcon. And I think we're just going to go ahead and attack their base. We're going to pass. We've got another Luke and a Plo Koon. I think we'll resource the Plo Koon. I'll put the Luke onto my... well, go ahead and defeat the Plo Koon here. I'll put the Luke onto the Millennium Falcon here. Ooh, Eager Escort Fighter, huh? Wow, okay. I didn't expect the Ambusher here, but that actually does make a lot of sense. We're just going to claim initiative, play the Luke out. They're going to attack in for 2. They're going to create another token. And that ended up working pretty nicely for them since we got a bunch of pilots in hand. Let's go ahead and resource this Luke. Don't really care for it here. Let's go ahead and put the Millennium Falcon down as a resource. And we'll just play out Chewbacca as a unit, which is not something that I necessarily tend to want to do, but that's okay. Let's go Chewbacca. We're going to go claim initiative. They got Tarkin, which is not bad. But I think we'll just take out Tarkin here. Ooh, very interesting. Let's resource the Millennium Falcon here. And we'll defeat the small Millennium Falcon. We'll take out Tarkin just to shrink down their units. This is just going to preserve a lot of HP for us. Tarkin Town doesn't quite finish off Chewbacca, which is pretty important. And then we're going to be able to play Han and the U-Wing reinforcements this turn, which is probably going to put them under a ton of pressure, but we'll have to see. Let's see what my opponent's got. I like the Tarkin. I think that's an interesting addition. Attacking for 3 with Luke. Opponent's definitely trying to think through all their options here. We're going to go up to 7 here. And the nice thing is we have the Millennium Falcon to smuggle out should we not be able to attack with Han this turn. Although in aggression command here, there's not many ways to stop us. OB doesn't do it. Open fire doesn't do it. There's a lot of things that our opponent could have. They're stalling in terms of actions, it looks like. But that could backfire. We'll see. Okay. Create a token. U-Wing reinforcements. Let's drop... I think we'll just drop Enfys Nest. And then bounce the Kijimi Patrollers. I mean, even though that's like not amazing. Okay, they got the Clone Combat Squadron. That makes sense. Tarkin Town in for some damage. Let's go ahead and defeat some stuff. I think what we'll do is just attack him with Chewbacca. We have lethal on board. We just need to get the attacks down. We need to worry about a OB is what we would be worried about. But even then, I don't know if we lose. If they flip, they'd have to do something pretty good. And they could stack up a lot of things, but they'd flip Vader here. We get an attack in with Enfys Nest. We bounce something. They're going to have essentially a 13 but 15 powered unit, really. And that's not enough to actually take us out. But they could have other units just to close out the game, is another option. But if they have OB... Okay, they don't. They don't have OB, so it doesn't matter. GG. I was thinking if they had OB, what they would do is they go 1, 6, so that's a 7, right? And then they would be able to go ahead and probably take out Luke, but they wouldn't be able to finish everything off. They'd have to have a 1 toughness or 1 cost unit to go up to 16, and that would have been perfect. So if they had 1 cost unit plus OB, they could have potentially done it, but that would have been impossible really, because we would have just killed them, right? Because they were stuck on action. So I don't really think they had an out there, even though Clone Combat Squadron was pretty close, which was pretty awesome to see. Next one we got is Vader Blue. This one's probably going to be a one where we kind of want a, ooh, this one actually looks pretty good. I'm going to keep this. I was just saying home one might be good, but I think I'll resource it. I mean, I like, let's go with these two as the resource, or these two as the resource. And then I think what we'll do is we'll put the home one into the resource pile. And I will drop a Millennium Falcon here on turn 1, get in some damage. And then we're going to attack in for 3. My prediction is that they're going to just kill it on turn 2. But if not, I can go ahead and pilot this, you know, and get a free Luke if they kill it, which is nice. There's the Merciless Contest. As I said, very, very likely to have happened. It was just going to die. So I figured, okay, the best thing to do is just go ahead and place something that at least is going to go ahead and get a little bit of value in 3 points of damage, right? Takedown. Wow, who would have expected that one? Let's play a Sundari Peacekeeper. We'll pass. We got a Spark of Rebellion. Ooh, I do like Spark of Rebellion here, actually. I'm going to get rid of this Surprise Strike at this stage of the game. And we're going to see, they got to power the dark side. Sure. Let's just go ahead and I think just play out a couple of things. Let's go a Spark of Rebellion here. Wow, they have a lot, kind of an insane hand, to be honest. Wow. What a crazy hand by them, to be honest. Let's go Millennium Falcon. Let's put Luke down, and let's flip Han, attack in for 4, and then pass. Got another Millennium Falcon, which looks pretty good, to be honest. I do like Millennium Falcon. We'll defeat the blue leader. Don't really care about that in the Luke. You got the No Glory, which they're going to go ahead and drop. They drew a Rival's Fall? Oh my, you're actually kidding me. What a draw. That is insane. Oh my gosh. Our opponent just doing the absolute nuts over here. Resource this Han Solo. We don't even get to play Ewing reinforcements. We're going to bounce the Millennium Falcon. Wow. What an insane situation for my opponent. Let's attack in for 3. Rivals Fall. You're kidding me. Let's go Ewing reinforcements. Let's grab I think we'll grab Chewbacca and R2. And we'll pass. No discard, because I think the Millennium Falcon is actually going to be more important. No Glory only results. We'll go ahead and claim initiative. Onyx Squadron Brute. What did they have? They have the No Glory, which they just used. So I think what we do is just go ahead and attack in for 3. And then we'll put the Millennium Falcon down and pilot the Luke onto it. Snoke, huh? Snoke is bad. That's very bad for us. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, I mean, I think we lost. The fact that they drew the Rival's Fall is pretty much what caused us to struggle here. The Rival's Fall on our Han leader was like the literal only option that I had. And not that we have any other option. GG to our opponent. They drew the Rival's Fall. They had a great hand, to be honest. It wasn't particularly close. The Rival's Fall was absolutely key, because I was literally playing around. Okay, they have the No Glory. They're going to No Glory our unit. We're going to get another attacking with Han. That's going to be enough damage, because we're going to be able to go ahead and use Hot Shot Blaster, right? Like, that was the whole kind of game plan. And then they Rivals Fall us, which is gross. Oh, here's a good one. We got Quinlan Red. This one's going to be an interesting one to go ahead and see. I do want resupplies in this matchup. I think I'm going to mulligan this one. I can go Sundari Peacekeeper, which is a totally fine play. But I think I can do a little bit better. Okay, there's a resupply. I'm happy with that. Chewbacca and Millennium Falcon as the resources. And then we'll resource Chewbacca and then resupply. And then we may just play a Plo Koon. We will see. Let's go ahead and drop the Chewbacca into the resource pile. Dang, they had the Spark Rebellion turn 1. What a miserable experience. That is about as good as it gets for them. Spark Rebellion turn 1. Definitely an amazing card for my opponent. We got the resupply anyways on turn 2, but still, resupply on turn 1 would have been the game of the game. They got the Greedo. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and claim initiative. They got a Sabine. Sure. Greedo's a little bit surprising, to be honest. Hotshot Blaster into the resource pile. And I think we're just going to go Plo Koon, ambush, hit the Sabine here. And then I think we'll kind of see where my opponent's at. So I can deploy Han this turn, which would prevent me from deploying Home 1 next turn. If I wait on the Han deploy, I can actually deploy Home 1 next turn. Oh, wow, they hit a Waylay. How lucky. What an insane running from our opponent in this game, to be honest. They've got Ahsoka, and they're going to make us discard, which is fine. We don't really lose anything. It can be a Han. We're going to go resource the L3. And we hope that they don't have a Kira or Ahsoka. If they do, it's not the worst. Wow, they have another Spark Rebellion! Ooh, it's insane for my opponent. To be honest, they've had an incredible hand. They've had an incredible hand. Double Spark Rebellion up against us. Plus, they hit the event off Greedo. Like, it's just been insane for my opponent. They're going to attack the Han, which is fine. And then let's see what my opponent's got to follow that up. Let's go Hotshot Blaster in for 6 into their base. Double Spark Rebellion. I mean, it's crazy. They just had an insane hand. Let's go ahead and claim initiative. Wow, they have the Cassian for the shield token on L3 as well. This is just... Our opponent is systematically dismantling what we've got going on. No doubt about it. Let's go ahead and defeat some surprise strikes here. We'll go ahead and take out Quinlan here. They even have Tarkin Town available. The fact that they hit Greedo actually changes the game so much. The fact that they hit with Greedo just completely changes the game, to be honest. Because they wouldn't have Tarkin Town here to deal with my Plo Koon, which would shrink their Cassian. But the Spark Rebellion is really what changed the game, right? Spark Rebellion on turn 1, and more importantly, Spark Rebellion on the Home 1 turn was key. Now, of course, I wasn't playing around it, but I didn't really have the ability to based on what they were able to do. And they have the L3 plus Sabine here. Really, really excellent situation for them. It was just a matter of kind of what they were able to come up with here in the early game. It was just incredible. It was incredible. But, you know, that's why Quinlan is exceptional. And I will say the Spark Rebellions is a great main deck card for Han. It is really good up against Han, and that's something that we have to consider. They're going to get in some damage for sure. Let's see what they got for 7 resources. They've got a Han Solo. Seems like a pretty good answer to what's going on here. They can go ahead and do nothing. We've got our own Spark Rebellion. That would have been pretty good at certain circumstances in this game. Let's go Millennium Falcon, attack in. I know I could have piloted it, but that doesn't really change a lot with this game. Spark Rebellion will take a force throw. Fantastic. Not that that's really going to change the game, because the game is pretty much over. The Spark Rebellion's really dismantled us. The other option I had during this game was not to go for the 3-drop and just try to get a 2-drop and go with the L3 on turn 1. I can't remember my initial hand. I don't know if that's really an option, or if that really... I should have played the L3, but it doesn't matter at this point, really. I didn't really have many options, I don't think. It's just the Spark Rebellion on 2 key turns was ridiculous. This is a pretty good matchup for Quinlan. We've already talked about Quinlan a lot, but Spark Rebellion's main deck in some decks, but Ahsoka, Force Throw, and Kira are enough to really make it troublesome for Han to do use or get use out of his action, and that makes it real big problem for us. Okay, we got the next matchup, Kira Green. Let's go ahead and start with ourselves. We've got kind of mediocre hand for this particular matchup. Not amazing hand. Following up, let's resource this tech and a blue leader here. We'll see what my opponent's got. I'll put Millennium Falcon into the resource pile so we can dig that back out later on. I suppose I can go with the Sundari Peacekeeper, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm just going to go with Millennium Falcon and just start getting in damage. They're going to start drawing a bunch of cards. The Spark Rebellion isn't bad, but it's not something I want to be playing this turn. So we'll see. We will see. I think I'm going to go with the Sundari Peacekeeper on turn 2. I think we just have to ignore the Dr. Pershing and hope they don't draw an amazing set of cards here. Okay, we're going to get in for 3 with the Millennium Falcon. They're going to play a Pike Sentinel. We'll play a Blue Leader, then we'll just ignore the ground here. We'll claim initiative. Got another Millennium Falcon. Ooh, and a Luke. Do I care about Luke, though? Probably not. Probably not. We're going to pay 1 resource here to keep the Millennium Falcon around. And I think I'm going to start with a Spark of Rebellion. OB, huh? Okay, OB is nasty. We got to take OB here. I know they can play a Chilton and a Super Laser Technician, but yeah, we just don't want to be doing that. They're going to draw a card with the Pershing and get some value there. We get to claim initiative here. They get to flip over Kira if they want, which isn't too bad, by the way. They're definitely on the more aggression side of things in this game. Ooh, and another Pike Sentinel, huh? Okay, let's go with Sundari Peacekeeper as the resource here. We're going to pay 1 to keep this around. We're going to attack in for 3. Attacking for another 3. Power of the Dark Side, huh? Let's get rid of the Millennium Falcon. We'll put R2 into the resources. We'll flip Han. I don't really care if Han sticks around, to be honest, because they got a bunch of Sentinels. It's not like we're doing a whole lot with what they have. I think they should probably attack with a Pike Sentinel here. Trigger. Ooh, they traded off there. I'm a little bit surprised. I think it's better off if they just hit the base. I think they should have raced us here. Let's claim initiative here. Ooh, this is a pretty good situation to be in. Let's destroy the R2 and the Sundari Peacekeeper. Let's go ahead and just get in for 6 into their base here. And then we have double Millennium Falcon, which is pretty nice. Dr. Pershing. Okay, let's get in for 3 here. High-low bottom force is going to allow us to draw a card. Ooh, they've got OB, huh? OB's pretty good. They're going to be able to knock out both units here. We're going to go Millennium Falcon Part 2. Get an attack for 3. They have to take initiative here. We'll pass. We will resource, I suppose, nothing. We don't really need to. Reinforcement Walker, they're going to heal 3, but that's okay because we have the attack in with Millennium Falcon, and then we have attack in with Millennium Falcon. GG. GG. We could have killed with Luke, could have killed with Millennium Falcon. Doesn't really matter, but we ended up getting there. Not too bad. And we got an old classic with Sabine Wren. That's pretty sick. Honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen a Sabine Wren out in the open. I like this hand. I like Sundari Peacekeeper and Resupply up against this matchup. We will resource these 2 here. And we're going to put R2 into the resource pile. I think home 1 could be good. Could be good. Depending on kind of where my opponent goes in this direction. They've got a Luke Skywalker. I think that just means we just go Sundari Peacekeeper. It's going to kill the Luke Skywalker, and it's going to be pretty nice for us. We've got another Sundari Peacekeeper, Resupply. Actually, I don't care for the resupply. Actually, I do kind of want... No. Yeah, let's go Sundari Peacekeeper here. Defeat the Resupply. Fleet Lieutenant! All right, my opponent's just got the cards here. They got the cards, okay? Blue Leader into the resource pile. We got the Han Solo, which is going to be pretty good. We're going to be able to knock out some units here, which is going to be pretty nice. We'll see if they attack here. Nope, they attack the base. Let's go ahead and knock out that Fleet Lieutenant then. And I think what we'll do is we will put home 1 down because Han Solo is more likely to be played. And we'll ambush, hit the... Sabine here for 3 because they probably have Darksaber here based on how they're playing this. I could kill off the Luke, but I want to get the damage in because if they have Darksaber, then it's way tougher for us to deal with Sabine. Sabine's Masterpiece, huh? Tech going to go into the resource pile. We'll defeat the home one, I suppose. Now we will just go ahead and, well, we will hit Luke because the Sabine's Masterpiece can go ahead and get an experience token, which is going to be pretty nice for them. We'll knock out Sabine here. And then we will be able to put a resource down, grab Tech or L3, depending on what we want. They have their own Sundari Peacekeeper, which is a little bit surprising, to be honest. Flip Han. We will attack into the Sundari. Oh, that's not what I intended to do. I intended to attack into base because I was like, oh yeah, we'll just trigger the ambush. Whoops. All right. Well, I missed out on some damage. It's just how it goes. Okay. Let's resource the Han. Let's go for maximum value. They probably have a wrecker here, but we have so much stuff in our resource pile that we can just go ahead and smuggle something out. So they can ECL here, and they can kill Han. Okay, yep, that's what I thought they were gonna do. I was gonna say they're kind of in a tricky spot here because even if they do that, they're not in a great position because they kind of have to kill both of my bigger units. Let's resource the Tech here. We've got Emphis Nest, which looks pretty good. Chewbacca, huh? Okay, I think what we'll do here is just go. What do I want to do here? Let's go Millennium Falcon. Wing Leader, huh? Okay, let's just race them. Let's go with a Hotshot Blaster in for a lot. Get in for attack damage, pass. Han Solo into the resource pile. We'll pay 1 resource. We have the damage on board, right? Because this is 8 damage. So they'll need something pretty good here. Needs to be like a wrecker into something else. So what you got? They try to go all in. All right, that's GG. GG to my opponent. Ended up being a pretty fast-paced game. It was hard for my brain to keep up with my commentary in a game like this where we're just back and forth, back and forth. I obviously made a mistake. I intended to attack base and then play the Han out because I would have just ambushed and killed the guy, which would have just been more damage to the base. No reason not to do that for the most part. And the game wouldn't have been as close, to be honest. So not too bad. On to the final game. This is a fun one. We've got ourselves a matchup against Luke Green. I'm going to mulligan this one. I'm not a huge fan of this hand in this situation. I do like a lot of these cards. I'm going to resource the Surprise Strike, by the way, and probably the Enfys Nest. Maybe it's the Millennium Falcon. You know what? We have Luke. I like Millennium Falcon into Luke. It's aggressive, very aggressive start. But we'll see what my opponent's got. A very aggressive start up against Luke like this can be just dominating. Because they don't have a ton of ways to deal with what we've got going on. Yeah, so we're going to put Spark down. We're going to go Millennium Falcon attack. Luke, get in for 6. That's 9 damage onto the base. And then they're dead really, really quickly, actually. Could have kept the blue leader instead of the Emphis Nest. But I'm thinking we already have our 2 next plays lined up to where I don't think we really need to keep a 3-drop. Alliance Dispatcher's great turn 1 play for Luke, of course. Something we got to be worried about. Okay, we'll attack in. We'll pass. We got a Sundari Peacekeeper and a blue leader. I think the blue leader is the more likely of the 2 to be played. Same thing, like a lot of 3-drops here. I'm really trying to go in aggressive up against this Luke here, which is the goal. We'll pay 1 resource. We can defeat the Sundari Peacekeeper. We'll see what my opponent has here. They can play 4 drops this turn, which is obviously really good. But we're aggressive. We're aggressive. Let's see what you got, opponent. See what you got. Opponent's really thinking about this one. Real thinking about this one. They got blue leader. Are they going to ambush, though? Really thinking about this one, huh? Opponent? I don't know if they're... I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. Opponent. I don't know what they're doing. I wonder if it's lagging. Sometimes it lags. So I don't think they should ambush here. And they conceded. Okay. Well, we're going to play another game because of that. Into the next game, we got ourselves a matchup against Boba Fett, which, well, I actually think I like my hand here. I'm going to go Resource Han and play a Sundari Peacekeeper. Sundari Peacekeeper is going to allow us to really take a lot more damage. I think the Chewbacca is actually not something that we want in this matchup. Let's go and just destroy the Han. They can attack with Pride. We'll just take the damage. And then we will heal up here. Okay, we'll take one more. We will just kill the General Pride. And then we can Blue Leader or Millennium Falcon or Resupply. We've got a lot of options here. Resupply, so strong. Okay, they're going to Torpedo Barrage. Okay, I think that makes our life really easy. It's just Resupply. We'll take all the damage onto base because we have so much HP coming in from the Han deploy, as well as Restore 2 right now on the Sundari Peacekeeper. So I think we are huge favorites right now. Game kind of feels like it's out of control for the Boba Fett player right now. They can P-38, sure. We will just take another point of damage here. We can attack in for 3 here, Restore 2. We can Blue Leader, Surprise Strike, Millennium Falcon, Han Solo attack. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Let's go ahead and put Surprise Strike down. Let's go Blue Leader. Ambush. Kill the P-38. We'll deploy Han. Kill the First Order Stormtrooper. Take another one. Play the Millennium Falcon. Attack in for 3. Pass. We will defeat this. Our resources R2. We will destroy 2 resources, which put us down to 6. And then we will be able to get it back up to 7 and then Enfys Nest this turn. So sneak attack. Fett's Fire Spray, huh? Okay, we'll take a little bit of damage here. Take a little bit. One more. We'll attack in for 3 because they're on the racing plan right now. Yep, they're going to do that because they got no other option. Fett's Fire Spray. We will attack in for 3. We'll play an Enfys Nest. Pass. Pass again. We will, I suppose, not resource anything because we'll just drop the U-Wing reinforcements. I mean, the game is over. It's super over. I don't think they have a unit besides Fett's Fire Spray to play. The Enfys Nest just bounce. And even if they do, and they're able to deploy Boba Fett onto that, we then have U-Wing reinforcements to follow up. Yep, so we'll just take 2. I mean, we can even take 2 onto Enfys Nest here. It doesn't really matter because we're just going to attack and return that to their hand. Bounce the Fett's Fire Spray back to their hand. I mean, the game is over. Game is over. They can deploy Boba Fett, but it doesn't really change the nature of the game right now. Because we're going to get in for 4. Let's say deploy Boba, we get in for 4 here. And then they have to take initiative. Because we can just claim, kill with Enfys Nest. Okay, we'll just claim. Don't really see. 2 resources for Boba Yellow doesn't have any options to really deal with the Enfys Nest. Usually, at least. Most people aren't playing Force Choke. So, GG. GG. Han Green. Not bad at all. All right, guys, what did we learn with Han Green? Well, the deck is sweet. It is absolutely sweet. There are definitely different ways you can go about it. I've seen various different builds. There are some that are more disruptive, some that have, Kiras and Waylays, some that have, more space units, more of a space strategy versus the Sundari Peacekeepers, some that are running, all manner of different things, really. Like, there are just so many different options you can go with. But this is kind of the heart of the deck, okay? You have the Millennium Falcons. I think both Millennium Falcons, this is the deck to build them. I think resupply is really important for the deck. I don't really think you should be playing the deck without resupply. There are just some situations where you can deploy Plo Koon so early and Enfys Nests and things like that so early. I think the Han Solo, the new one from set 4, works exceptionally well because of the Millennium Falcons. Can really give you some early game dominance and make your opponent really shiver for a while. But overall, I mean, this deck is fan-freaking-tastic. You can definitely index more towards late game as well with like 3 copies of Reinforcements, more copies of Home Ones. We didn't actually play Home One at all. In most games, the game was over. Might be something to consider moving to the sideboard. I've been feeling like we've been fighting against a lot of mid or mid-range decks, so I included them in the main deck. But against today's matchup, even against like the Kira, for example, the game didn't even go to the point where Home One was relevant. Quinlan dominated us. Like, it was kind of brutal, like, honestly. Oof. But for the most part, Han has always been a tough matchup into Quinlan because of all of the discard that they have, and you can't really utilize your action, and then you just can't really set up the 7 turn or the 8 turn or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But overall, I mean, this deck is amazing. Han's good. Using resources ahead of when you should be able to is good. Who knew? Well, we did from previous sets. Give it a try. Hopefully it's not as disruptive as Han Yellow. I think this is a much more healthy version of Han in general. I think the like cunning, Kira, Ahsoka, DJ, Tech type style of Han is a lot more oppressive and a lot more annoying for opponents to fight against. So at least you get a little bit more of a fair base deck, a more mid-range style of deck in Han, which hopefully benefits a lot of other players than the double yellow Han variant. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all for the next one.